All right, what's up, everybody? We should be live. Went live a little bit ahead of schedule today. Just had the time. Everything was all prepared. So, how you guys doing today? It is Apple Event Day. Man, I feel like a broken record. I've said that so many times this year. So many Apple events this year, the most ever. And I'm excited. This is a different one than the past few. The past few have been a lot of software focused. Of course, the new iPhones. This is all about the Macs today. So MacBooks most likely are going to be the star of the show today. So we'll see. What's up, everybody? What's up, Alan? Derek, I see you guys. Kyle, what's up, everybody? What are you guys most excited for today? I'm really excited for the new MacBook Pro. We got reports from Bloomberg saying that we may not actually get that today, but we may see that Apple's working on it. So I'll go over all the latest last minute rumors and things like that as well here in a moment once we get everybody through into here. So somebody's saying the only in the left ear. Okay, cool. Let me fix that real quick. That's an easy fix. So that's why I have you guys in here to tell me. Okay, so here we go. That should be fixed. Is the audio fixed now? The audio should be in both ears now. Let me know. Yeah, the live stream or the event actually starts at 1 p.m. So we got about an hour before the actual stream starts. So what's up, Gabriel? What's up, Black? Everything's fixed? Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. What's up, Alan? Anthony, I see you guys. Cool, much better. Um, yeah, so AirTags. So I saw a couple people asking about AirTags. We should probably see those today. I mean, Apple uses one more thing, the phrase one more thing, very sparingly. I mean, the last time they did it was in 2017 with the iPhone 10. So I'm expecting more than just the Max. I mean, the Max at this point are pretty much a given. Um, that's as many reports as we've seen from really reputable people like Bloomberg and John Prosser and people like that. We've been hearing about this for a long time now. The Silicon Macs are pretty much a guarantee. But as far as the AirTags, I want to say they're a guarantee as well. But I've seen a lot of mixed reactions, a lot of mixed reports on the AirTag. So the latest thing about the AirTags actually are that we're going to see possibly two different sizes of AirTags, which will be really interesting. But I really think they're going to be a lot more successful than people are really thinking right now. So, what's up, Jonathan? AirPods Studio. So that's another thing. AirPods Studio. I don't think we're going to see those today. We saw reports from John Prosser um, saying pretty much that they got delayed until probably around March. So we may see a March event next year in 2021 where we could see the AirPods Studio, which are the over-the-ear premium headphones. So um, AirTags for what? AirTags for tracking things, like kind of like the Tile. So basically, like a Bluetooth tracker you could put on your keychain, you can put in your luggage, you can put in maybe even a case on your iPhone, or something like that. Basically, just to track objects, physical objects, if you want to track those. That's what AirTags are going to be used for. So, Stefan with the super chat, appreciate that, Stefan. Didn't say anything, but I appreciate that. Uh, are the Silicon Macs a processor name or are they actual silicon? That's the name. I mean, they use a silicon, but that's just the name. I mean, they're ARM processors at the core, but it is silicon. Only a MacBook today, yeah. So we're expecting probably two MacBooks. So if I go to my screen over here, you can see I talked about this in my leaks video as well. But Love to Dream, who is a pretty accurate Apple leaker, said this back on November 2nd: 13-inch X2. So most likely meaning that we're probably going to see two different MacBooks. Excuse me, at this event, 13-inch MacBooks most likely. So we did see reports about a MacBook Pro and a MacBook, which is probably what he was referring to here. Two different MacBooks, MacBook and a MacBook Pro. But Bloomberg is kind of refuting some of those. So we'll see. And I'll go over the Bloomberg stuff here in a moment as well. So Cody with the super chat, appreciate that. Here's the last Chick-fil-A lunch on this year. Treat yourself to a brownie too. Hey, I appreciate that, Cody. Thank you. You know me well with the Chick-fil-A. That's about the price of it too. So appreciate that. Uh, can the iPhone 12 do reverse charging? So we did see reports of that, and that could actually be coming in like a software update. Apple could actually enable that via software, but there's really not a lot behind that as of right now. So iPhone 13, no, that's next year. And by the way, guys, this right here, this little timer, that is how long until the event. So that's how long we have until the event actually starts. and the event is linked down in the description below, Apple's official live stream. Of course, I can't show the actual event on this stream, otherwise I'd get struck down and I would never be able to make YouTube videos again. So that's why I'm not going to be able to actually show the event right here. So macOS Big Sur, yeah. So I'm expecting to see at least a release date for Big Sur today. At least a release date. I think it's possible to come out today as well, as I talked about in my leak video. But I would expect, at the bare minimum, a release date for Big Sur. I mean, this is an event all about the Mac, so it makes sense why they waited. I mean, a lot of people, myself included, were wondering what has been taking Apple so long to release Big Sur. But it's probably because they were just waiting for this event. So, Stefan with the super chat. Finally, someone says my name right. I'm glad I got that right for you. Let's see. What screen protector do I use, and what screen protector do I recommend? I go through a few different types. I mean, the cheap ones on Amazon are fine, but I like the screen protectors from Rhino Shield. Rhino Shield makes some great screen protectors, so that's usually who I use when I go through and get screen protectors, like high quality screen protectors. So, and just FYI, if you're spamming, I'm not going to read your question. That's not how to get my attention. Should I still buy AirPods second generation? I would hold off on any AirPods purchases right now. I mean, Apple, I guess last year the AirPods Pro, or whenever, 2 years ago, came out later in the year, but I wouldn't buy any AirPods, especially until you see the AirPods Studio. I mean, even if you're not wanting over-the-ear headphones, at least wait until those come out, just because they could be right around the corner in a few months in March. So I wouldn't buy any AirPods right now, unless you want the AirPods Pro and you know for sure you don't want any over-the-ear headphones. I would maybe get those, in time for Christmas, but anything else I would probably hold off on if I were you. What are silicon MacBooks? Basically, it's just Apple using their chips that they use in like the iPad and in the iPhone, just their in-house chip basically being put in the MacBook. That's the easiest way to describe it. So basically, we're going to get much better efficiency, much faster. Just everything's going to be far improved, and it's going to be cheaper for Apple to make since the chips are made in-house and they're not buying from Intel. So, will AirTags have a special built-in software? Do you mean like in the AirTags themselves? Yeah, I mean, most likely, but it's probably going to be something like, like on the AirPods where it just automatically updates and things like that. That would be my guess. Cody, do you think spatial audio is coming to Mac or Apple TV? That's a good question. You mean spatial audio? I mean, spatial audio is in the AirPods Pro. I can see that coming to the Mac and Apple TV. Yes, I think that probably will. Will new AirPods launch this year? Most likely not. Most likely not. How about AirPods Pro for Black Friday? I hope to get them for around $150, $160. Yeah, I mean, if you can get the AirPods Pro at a discount for Black Friday or something, then yeah, I say go for that. I just wouldn't pay full price right now for any AirPods. But if you can get them on a good sale or something like that, or if you get them as a gift, then sure. I just know that a lot of leaks and rumors are pointing to new AirPods coming very soon, most likely at the beginning of next year. So yeah, the website is down because of the product launches. So if we go like to Apple and obviously to the store, you will see that things are down. So like even I think music accessories is down too. It's like if I go to music accessories, yeah. So pretty much everything is down. Some people are saying that because the music accessories section is down that we're going to see AirPods Studio, but I wouldn't think too much into that. I think it's just because it's part of the store and it's just down. So I don't think we're going to see the AirPods Studio today. I would love to be wrong on that. I would love to see the AirPods Studio, but I don't think we're going to see them, unfortunately. Just because, I mean, John Prosser talked about how they got delayed in production and things like that. So I just don't see it happening. I think that the one more thing that Apple is using for this event, I mean, you can interpret it multiple ways. One more thing as in it's another event after having so many other events, but also it could be in the actual event itself. We may see the AirTags as being the one more thing. It's not really exciting just because we kind of already have seen a lot of the leaks and everything. So it's not going to be a super surprise, but it's still like a one more thing that maybe the event is not completely focused around. So do you think Big Sur is coming out today? I think there is a chance. I think there is a chance that Big Sur comes out today. Like I said earlier, I think that the bare minimum we'd see today with Big Sur is that we'll see a release date. So the website will be back up after the products get announced. So Hardcore Gamer with the super chat. Appreciate that, Hardcore. Will the new software update work with the MacBook Air? The new software update? You mean Big Sur? Big Sur will work if you had if it's compatible, if you've been using the betas and things like that. So if that's what you're talking about, then yes. I appreciate that super chat, by the way. I think AirPods Pro are 194 now, new on Walmart. Should I buy them, or do you think they're going to drop? I would wait at least until Black Friday sales, because somebody mentioned earlier there may be some good Black Friday sales on the AirPods Pro. So, any news on next year's iPhone Touch ID on the power button or a patent? No, I have not seen any patents for it with relation to the iPhone. I think it'd be cool to have it, but I'd much rather prefer, I'd prefer more of a in-screen fingerprint sensor, I think, than on the power button. But I really like it. I've been using the iPad Air here, which of course has the Touch ID sensor in the power button, and it's crazy. I mean, I love it, but it's very, I don't know, it's not as comfortable, it's not as natural for me. So I feel like having it in the screen would be a lot better than having to put your finger all the way up or all the way on the side just to unlock it. So I like the thought, but it's not super practical in my opinion. So I'll talk more about that in my long-term iPad Pro or iPad Air review. So is a new MacBook worth it, or should I buy a new Chromebook? That completely depends, and I think that you should definitely wait until you see what gets announced today before making that decision. Because, I think today's Macs are going to be. I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. I think this is a much bigger event than a lot of people realize. I mean, this is the first time we've seen Apple switch over, from Intel chips to their own chips. I mean, ever. We've been hearing about this rumor for like 6-7 years at least. We've been hearing about Apple switching over from Intel to their own chips for so many years, and now it's finally happening, and we're going to see some massive improvements to the Mac line after today. Will iOS get an update today? I don't think so. It's possible. I mean, it is a Tuesday, so it is possible. We may actually see like a 14.3 beta 1 today. I would not rule that out. But today is focused on Mac, so I think that we could also see Big Sur release today, like I mentioned earlier. So Alex with the super chat, appreciate that, Alex. Thank you. What are your thoughts on the HomePod Mini? I love the thought of the HomePod Mini. I don't have it yet. I'll be getting mine on Friday, but I love the original HomePod, and I think for $99, the HomePod Mini is a great product for that price, especially if you get multiples and put them around the house, especially with the new intercom feature. I think they're very solid, especially for that price tag, and you get 2 colors, which is pretty cool. Alex with the $2, appreciate that, Alex. Thank you. Will you mention some example of how it will integrate with iPads and iPhones? What do you mean by that, William? When do you think iOS 15 will be out? I mean, the same time it is every year. WWDC every year is when we see the beta. So next year. I have a Google Home Mini. Should I buy the HomePod Mini, or is it not worth it? I don't know. I will be having a review on the HomePod Mini, so if you are interested in any HomePod Mini coverage, I will be doing that here probably over the weekend, maybe early next week after I get my hands on it on Sunday. I will also cover the intercom feature. A lot of people have been really interested in the intercom feature, so I will test that out with my multiple HomePods set up here in the house. So the event starts right at this timer. This timer right here, that's when the event starts. How come you don't get review units? Not too sure. Not too sure. Maybe it's because, I've always had this thinking that maybe Apple still hasn't forgiven me for all the jailbreak content I've made in the past. I did talk a lot about jailbreaking and getting things free, so maybe I'm like on their blacklist for something like that. I'm not sure. But that's another reason I stopped covering that, I guess, last year or 2 years ago. So hopefully I'll get there one day. Hopefully they'll forgive me. What do you think of the new iPad having Face ID? What do you mean? Like which iPad are you talking about? If you're talking about the new iPad Pro, yeah, it'll definitely have it. What are the AirTags supposed to do? They're going to be Bluetooth trackers, pretty much. and they're going to use sorry, I had to interrupt Corey. My 20,000 ARM Mac pre-order. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not going to be my next video, but um, what year were you most surprised with Apple products released at an Apple event? That's a really good question. Um, Most surprised with the products released? Honestly, probably this year. I mean, there's been so many products this year that we really have been waiting on for so long. I mean, number one, we got the iPhone SE, the new iPhone SE, which was rumored for what, like 4 years or something like that. We got the iPhone 12 mini. You know, never thought we'd see a small screen with a edge-to-edge display like that. I mean, now we're getting the ARM Max, the Silicon Max. I think this year is probably the craziest year and stuff I really didn't expect going into the year. So Alex with the two, appreciate that. Most surprising thing about 12 Pro is Max too big. Most surprising thing about the iPhone 12 Pro? Um, I don't know. I mean, there's really nothing too surprising to me about it. I mean, obviously the battery life is much better than I expected. So maybe that is surprising to me. I saw a lot of, you know, preliminary reviews and battery tests saying that the battery life is not the greatest on the iPhone 12 Pro. But me, you know, I've had excellent battery with the 12 Pro, so I cannot wait for the 12 Pro Max because I even made a video on how to get like all day battery life on the iPhone 12 Pro. So if I had to say something, it'd be that. So Benvito with D5, appreciate that, man. Sup, bro? Hey, what's going on? You're always in these chats. I appreciate you. iPhone SE full screen rumors to now is iPhone 12 mini design. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And Apple's probably working on it long before this year. So is the iPhone 11 battery life good? Yeah, iPhone 11 battery life's good. I mean, pretty much anything after, I mean, 11 and up is going to be considered good in today's standards. I mean, even the 10R still gets great battery life for me. So, how expensive will the AirTags be? That's a good question, and that's something I've kind of gone back and forth on. I don't know. My guess is probably going to be like $40 or $50 would be my guess, just because I think it's going to be more than the competition. So, $40 to $50 would be my guess. Could be more, could be less. I really have no clue. Apple has really never released a product like this, so I really have no kind of intel or history to go off of when thinking about the price for it. So, should I buy the iPad Pro 2020 or wait for the next iPad Pro? I would probably get the iPad Pro 2020. I mean, I love that iPad Pro. It is, you know, my favorite Apple product besides like maybe the iMac that I use. Yeah, hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Appreciate that. Imagine Apple announced the keynote today to mess with Microsoft on the launch of the Xbox, announced their own console. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. There's been a lot of rumors too about Apple having their own game console, but I honestly don't see that ever happening. But that's just me. Same with the car thing. We've heard about an Apple car, but I just don't see that happening at all. Do you think the Max will get a notch? That's actually a good question. I've never even thought about that. Probably not. I think that we're always going to have kind of a slim bezel. I don't think it's ever going to be full edge to edge, at least not anytime in the near future. But I think there's always going to be that tiny little bezel. So I don't think we'll have necessarily a notch on the Max. So I got the MacBook Air 2020. Are there any new features? I actually made a video, Gabriel, on the MacBook Air 2020 because I got one. I did a full review on that, so you can go watch that if you have not already. iPhone 12 mini versus iPhone 12, your pick. I mean, honestly, it's my daily driver. It would be the iPhone 12. iPhone 12 mini, I already know before I have it in hand that it's going to be too small for me for typing, and also the battery life's not going to be as good as I would prefer on my daily driver phone. So, do you think CarPlay will support the 2020? I have no idea. I don't have a Sienna van, so I have no idea. But a 2020 car, I would imagine, would have CarPlay. If it's a at least, you know, a higher end car or not the bare minimum of a car, I would think that it would have CarPlay. Most cars these days have CarPlay and Android Auto. So, do you think that Apple might be working on an underscreen camera? So I haven't seen any patents of that. Usually we see patents years in advance of something like that. So I do not think so. I would not expect that anytime soon either. Alex with the two, appreciate that. Best browser on iPads. I honestly just use Safari. I mean, I've had issues with every other browser, really nothing major, just small things. And I just really like how Safari just fully syncs up and integrates with my Macs and my iPhone as well. So I just stick with Safari on the iPad. What's up, Angelica? I went from 10s Max to iPhone 12. Do you think the battery is a problem? You mean the battery on the iPhone 12? No, the battery on the iPhone 12 is great. It's probably going to be kind of similar though to the 10s Max because the 10s Max did have a pretty big battery. Yeah, I mean, if I buy all the MacBooks, you better believe I'm gonna be returning at least one of those. I don't need all those MacBooks. So the iPhones I keep. I don't really return the iPhones unless it's just I'm getting them for the colors. But for the MacBooks, I will not be keeping those. That's too much money to be just keeping around when I don't use them and I'll never use them. So if I was like strictly a Mac channel, then yeah, I would keep them. But I mostly do iPhone and iOS related stuff with some Mac stuff, sprinkled in there. So let's see. What are your thoughts on the AirPods Pro replacement program? Not too sure about the AirPods Pro replacement program. I've not looked into that at all, so not too sure. Is the SE worth it? Worth it is such a, that just depends on you. I would say that the 12 mini may be a better buy if you're going just for size and you want the specs and the better battery life and things like that. But I don't know. I'll be doing a whole video on the 12 mini versus the SE as well. Let's see. How good is the battery life on the iPhone SE2? I did a full video. I did actually a battery test on the iPhone SE2. So if you missed that, go back to my channel and watch. I did a full battery test video comparing it to like the iPhone 11 and things like that. So go back and watch that. Is the Mac Mini worth it or buy the MacBook Air instead? Once again, these all just depend on your situation. I mean, me personally, I would go Mac Mini. But again, it completely depends on your situation. Like, do you go to school? Do you take notes? Do you need a lot of processing power? Do you game? Do you edit videos? Do you, photo edit? Things like that. But I would go Mac Mini. But if I were like in college or something like that and I didn't need a ton of processing power, I would go with the Air. What's up, Christina? What's up, Robert? Let's see. Okay, that's a good question about the Techie Kid. Do you think Apple Glasses have a slim chance of coming at this event due to the tagline, "One more thing"? I do not. We heard about those. I think John Prosser made a big video about like the reveal of them and things like that. But I personally do not think that we're going to see Apple Glasses this year and probably not even next year, honestly. Let's see. What are we listening today and what are you excited for? I mean, I'm mostly excited, honestly, for the Silicon Max. I mean, like everybody else, but I would love to see the AirTags and if everything is true, like we saw in the rumors. So, Jason, appreciate that, Jason. Does the MagSafe charger leave circular marks on the Apple Silicon and leather case? Yes, it does. And Apple actually put that on their website now. So if you look at the cases on Apple's website, it actually shows like a tiny imprint basically of what to expect. So it's nothing bad though. So what's up, Alexander? Should you buy the 10R this year? I actually have a video coming up very soon on buying the 10R in 2020, so stay tuned for that video. But long story short, yes for some people, no for some people. I'd only buy it if it was used. So Alex with the 2, appreciate that, Alex. The iPhone battery health max capacity legit? Are you asking if the battery health max capacity is legit? I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you mean is it accurate, then yeah, it is definitely accurate. Will the AirTags be released today? I like to think so, Thomas. What case would I recommend for the iPhone 11? I have a lot of different cases. If you watch my iPhone 11 first things to do video, I actually show quite a few cases in there for the iPhone 11. So that video should show you a nice variety. How do you maintain 100% or good battery health for a long time? Again, I made a video of specifically on maintaining a good battery life for a long term. I mean, my iPhone, what was it? My iPhone 10s Max, I believe it was. I had 100% battery capacity for like, I think it was like 8 months or something like that. That's my record. I never got that on the 11 Pro Max. Never got that on, I probably won't have it on the 12 or the 12 Pro Max. But I did get it a lot back then. But lately I've been just doing a lot of fast charging and that really does eat up on that battery capacity. It does wear down the cycles and everything on that lithium-ion battery. So when will Apple headphones come to India? What do you mean Apple headphones? You mean the AirPods Studio or what? How do you display every message you respond to? I'm using a program called Ecamm on the Mac. Is there a new design for the Mac? So this is one thing I think we could be surprised about today. The one thing I think we could be very surprised about today is a new design. Do I think it's going to happen? No. I think we're going to see the same design that we've been seeing on the MacBooks, possibly slightly smaller bezels, but I think that a new design is not completely out of the question. I would give it maybe like a 5% chance. However, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to think that Apple's going to have a whole event just for a chip, but at the same time, it is, huge. We've been waiting on this for many years, so I think I think it's possible. Do I think it's likely? No. When will you review the AirTags? When I get them in hand. When I get them in hand. Are you expecting a MacBook 16-inch silicon? Probably not today. We're probably not going to see it get released as early as the 13 inches because we saw this tweet from Love to Dream, who of course is very accurate with his leaks. So I would be expecting two 13-inch MacBooks, maybe a MacBook and a MacBook Pro, or maybe they're going to call it the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro. We don't know exactly on the naming right now, but do you know if the leather cases will be available from Apple for the 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max? Yes, they will, Rick. MacBooks with the glowing Apple logo? No, I don't think that's coming back, unfortunately. I do not think we'll be seeing that on the Macs. I wish. That was one of my favorite things, but I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. Any possibility the Macs will get cheaper because of Apple Silicon? I do not think so. I think that the MacBooks and the Macs are going to stay the same price. I just think that we're going to see, of course, this is what Apple tends to do. They like to introduce like the new chips and all these new features and saying, for the same price. That way you get much better value. It's perceived as better value, but it actually is better value as well. So I think we're going to see the same prices as we saw on previous Macs, just with a better value proposition with these new chips inside. So do you think it's okay that Apple is not even including a charging brick in their new MagSafe charger duos? I mean, it's literally in the name charger. Yeah, I mean, I think it's for the same reason they're not doing it in any other product. So I personally never had a problem with that, but of course, it's going to depend on the person. Better cooling possibly on the new Macs. I would think so. I would think so. I would think that if we'd see a new design today, I think the more likely is internally we'd see a better design for possibly better cooling. So we'll see about that. And plus, the chip itself is going to be, more efficient. It's probably not going to get as hot. It's not going to run through as much battery while being, better on the performance side. So we'll see. Appreciate that, Rhythm. Appreciate that. Do you think an iPhone SE Plus will be released next year? We saw a lot of rumors about that earlier this year, if you guys remember. So I don't know. We're gonna have to see how the leaks go next year. Right now, my thought is no, but we'll see. Will they immediately stop selling the Intel MacBooks, or will both Apple Silicon and Intel be sold side by side? I think they're going to still have the Intel MacBooks up there, at least one variation. I think they will pull some down, but I think it's possible because Apple even said, at the event that they still plan on releasing another Intel Mac, whether that be a MacBook or an iMac or something like that, before full on silicon, lineup. Like it's probably going to be until, maybe next year is when we'll see full silicon. But this year we may still see like one Intel based Mac and then the rest silicon. I'm not too sure. We've seen a lot of mixed reports on that, but we'll see. Does MagSafe work on an iPhone XR? You can wirelessly charge on it. Yeah, it's just not going to stick as well as like the iPhone 12. It's pretty much just like a glorified wireless charger. Like it's a cheap charger. So if you can wirelessly charge your phone, on any wireless charger, you'll be able to charge it on with MagSafe, a MagSafe charger. It's just not going to stick. It's that your phone doesn't have the magnets inside, so it's not going to stick as well as something like the as the 12s. Do you recommend buying an iMac instead of a MacBook since they're at the same price point? If portability is not an issue, what do you recommend? Yes, absolutely an iMac over the MacBook if portability is not an issue. I love the iMacs. iMacs are my favorite Macs ever. So especially if we get the redesigned iMac with the iPad Pro design language with like the look of the iPad Pro. Game over. I think a lot of people are going to switch over to that as well. So, will there be a new MacBook or iMac today? Most likely just MacBooks. We may actually see something about the iMac today, but I wouldn't think, I don't think the iMac's going to get released at the same time as the MacBooks will. So I think that we'll see the MacBooks get released first, and then we'll probably see the iMacs probably next year if we see anything about it at this event. We know that Apple is working on it. Bloomberg talked about it a lot in this article, and I'm not sure. I guess I need to go into an incognito window to see this full story. But yeah, so they talked about in this article basically how they're working on like a new Mac Pro, they're working on the new iMac and things like that. We just may not see them at this event. So let me see where the iMac is. Okay, so yeah, so basically Apple will still have until 2022 to update desktop computers, the iMac, iMac Pro, and Mac Mini with its own processor. So, and you can see here, they actually said as well, the company is already at work on a redesigned iMac. The company's all in one desktop. So we know that they're working on it. We knew that already, but to get validation as well and kind of verify it from somebody like Bloomberg, like Mark Gurman, it's promising that we see that they are working on it. But they don't really say that we're going to see it at this event. So that kind of has me not worried, but kind of has me less optimistic that we're going to see an iMac at this event. So let's see. Should I get the Mac Air or Pro? You mean the MacBook Air Pro? I would only get the MacBook Pro if you need it for processing power, like, if you photo edit, if you video edit, if you even like to game a little bit, then I would go Pro. Otherwise, if you don't do any of those things, if you're mainly just like a student, you want to take notes, you want to web browse from time to time, watch Netflix videos, then I would go with the cheaper, the Air or just the MacBook. Will it have a new chip like a B14 or just go with A14 or A14X? Yeah, I don't know how they're going to name it. I mean, I think it's going to have 14 in it. So I think A14X is kind of for like the for the iPads. So I don't think they're going to go with X, but it is a possibility. We'll see. Nothing is leaked at all about that, at least not yet. So maybe if I go on Twitter, maybe Love to Dream has said something more. Let's see. Nope, he's he's tweeting about his dog. So nothing from Love to Dream here. Okay, so whoa, here's something. So Love to Dream said LS. LS. Anybody have any predictions on what LS means? So he just tweeted this about 10 minutes ago. LS. He always has hidden, if you guys don't know Love to Dream, he always posts initials of things and their leaks. And after the event, he says what that stood for. So what could LS mean? Any ideas? Maybe it's the Intel about to take some L's. What could he be talking about? LS. Interesting. Large screen, lifesaver. Large screen. Large screen. I guess that's a possibility, but I don't know if larger screen is really. It could actually, now that I think about it, because I mentioned this earlier. I mentioned how we could see smaller bezels, so maybe larger screen. Maybe LS means larger screen because of smaller bezels. So maybe it'll still be like a 13-inch MacBook, but it's going to look bigger because it has less bezel. LiDAR sensor or LiDAR scanner, that's actually true. That could be as well. LiDAR sensor, LiDAR scanner, or larger screen. Interesting. L series of chips, I mean, maybe, but what would the S stand for? What would S stand for if it was like the L series of chip? If that was the case, I think you would put like 14L instead of LS. Larger speakers, that's also possible, but I don't know if he would tweet something small like that out. When he usually does these kind of cryptic tweets, they're about something pretty major, like a major new feature. So I think my guess is either LiDAR sensor, LiDAR scanner, or larger screen. And the more I think about it, larger screen makes more sense because of maybe smaller bezels. Because a lot of people were not expecting a design change, but maybe he's saying this because there is going to be a design change, but it's just going to be like a bigger screen. But I don't know. Let me see what other people think down here. Yeah. A14L, A14S. That's also a possibility. Maybe two different types of chips, the A14L, A14S. That's possible as well. He always has these cryptic tweets that have you thinking, and then after the event, when you see what it was, you're like, oh, that's obvious. How did I not think of that? So we'll see what LS means. Interesting. Little sir. Redesign? Nah, I don't think we're going to see a full redesign. I mean, if we see any kind of redesign, it's going to be like maybe what LS stands for, larger screen. So it could be LiDAR scanner too, but I don't know. A LiDAR scanner on a Mac, what would that really be good for? I mean, I guess it would be better for better like face detection for something like, maybe front-facing pictures or videos or Face ID. But I don't think that's really a major thing that he would cryptically tweet. So let's see. Large space bar. That's definitely it. Large space bar. Mini LED screen. No, I don't think we're going to see mini LED this year. I would love to see mini LED, but I think we're going to see that next year. I think next year is when we're most likely to see mini LED screens on the Macs. So any suggestions for iPhone 12 Pro Max cases? Hopefully mine arrives Friday, so looking for a case. Alex, I did make a video on first things to do on the iPhone 12, and I mentioned some cases in there. So there's a lot of good cases. I mean, Spigen, Spec, Casetify, Caseology. Those are all the first ones that come to mind. Will Big Sur be released today? I mentioned this earlier, but we could see it either released today. If we don't see it released today, I think we will see a release date for it. So may not necessarily see it today, but we will see at least probably a release date for it. I think we will get it in November, though. I don't think the Apple's going to push Big Sur to December. I just cannot see that happening. So let's see. Dedicated GPUs on MacBooks possibly, such as NVIDIA or AMD on board. Yeah, it's possible. I don't know. I would love to see what they do with that, because a lot of people, I mean, gaming is always one of those things that people complain about with Macs. So I would love to see Apple in this event actually show like gaming on a Mac. They really never do that. It's always, light games. I would love to see them play like PUBG or something on a Mac. That would be crazy. Liquid Super Retina. That's actually possible too. That's possible too. It could be something small like the naming of the screen. Let's see. My prediction is for macOS Big Sur's release is maybe by today or maybe next week. Yeah. So one thing they could do, Anthony, as well, is they could say Big Sur, I could talk about Big Sur today, just like at the very end. I could see this happening too. At the very end, like before they close out the show, just say, and Big Sur will be released next Monday or next Tuesday. So I could see that happening as well. I think it's time for iPad Pro to increase in screen size, like 14 inches. What do you think? Honestly, the 12.9 is perfect for me. I don't think that they should increase the size too much. 120 hertz on the Mac, I think that's also a good possibility. But they could be waiting for mini LED for that as well. So let's see. Is speaking? Yeah, I like speaking cases. Speaking cases are good. Higher resolution screen in the new MacBooks. I don't see that happening. I don't think we're going to see higher resolution in the screens. I think that we're going to see that with the mini LED screens. I think mini LED is where we're going to see a big bump in the actual quality. So I love the foam tips, Alberto. I love the foam tips. Larger storage. Yeah, I think one of the things that Apple's going to do this year with the, because like I said, I think the prices are going to stay the same. If they don't stay the same, they may go up by a tiny bit. I don't think there's going to be a big difference in price on the new Silicon Max, but I think that we're going to see a larger base storage, maybe for like the memory and the RAM, like the storage size and the RAM. I think we'll see probably increased starting sizes for those, just so you get better value for the price. What's up, Husma? 120 hertz, like I said, I don't know. My guess is probably no for 120 hertz screens. I think with mini LED, we'll see that next year. So, touch bar in the new Max, I don't know. Probably, I would think so. I would think so. No, I'm not making any more jailbreak videos. New iPad mini? No, probably not going to see that today. I don't see any iPhones or iPads being released or announced today. I think it's strictly going to be about the Max, and then probably also the AirTags. Do you think we'll get a surprise since they said one more thing? I talked about this earlier, William, but I think that one more thing is, you could interpret it multiple ways. But I don't think we're going to be too surprised, because I think that the surprise could be AirTags. So we really won't be too surprised if that actually happens. Yep, knew that was going to happen. Fortnite coming back. Likelihood of AirPods 3/AirPods Studio today. Like I said, very slim chance. I would put it at maybe like 2% chance of coming today. 2% chance. Talked about the pricing of AirTags earlier. I would guess somewhere in the $40 range, $40 to $50 range. Just because I think they're going to try to price above the competitors a little bit. Just because you're going to get more for it too, so. AirTags are not confirmed, right? Nothing's confirmed, really. I mean, the new Max, you could say, are confirmed. But yeah, AirTags are not confirmed at all. But I think there's a good likelihood that we see them today. Yeah, so don't see anything else besides just LS from Love to Dream. So we'll have to see what that means. We'll know it when we see it. When we're in the stream, you guys will catch on to when Apple announces something with LS. So yeah, we do need it, George. Spatial audio is awesome. We need it for Apple TV. I think it's actually going to be coming for Apple TV. I think so. And the Max. I can definitely see that happening. Do I prefer the silicone or the leather case for the 12 Pro, 12 Pro Max? I personally prefer the silicone case, but I like the look of the leather case better. Will there be an ARM-based Mac Mini? Yes, but we probably won't see that announced today. Probably will not see that announced today. How come you use Chrome instead of Safari? Just personal preference. I like a lot of the plugins. And everything's synced here. I've just used it for so long that everything is already synced up. So that's just my preferred. But I do use Safari a lot as well, especially on my MacBook. I use it. So LS live stream. Don't be overhyped. Definitely not live stream. Love to Dream always tweets out cryptic things and tells us what they meant after the event. So this definitely has something to do with what we're going to see at the event, but we just don't know what yet. Aggregation with the $2. Appreciate that, man. Hey there, long time no talk. Hey, good to see you in here. I remember you from the super chats, yeah, and the live streams from a long time ago. So appreciate you being in here, PvP. Is there another version of Brandon Butch? Any possible firmware update for AirPods Gen 1? You mean today? Probably not today, but you're talking about ever? I think it's a possibility, yeah. But there would have to be something that, really went wrong with them. So I think that mostly the software updates are going to be for the Pros and the latest gen. Maybe a notch on the Max. I talked about this earlier, but I don't see it happening just because I think we'll always have kind of a thin little bezel. So it won't look like a notch. When will the event start? Look right here. This is when the event will start. This timer right here. Is a desktop Mac worth the purchase? Do you mean an iMac or Mac Mini or iMac Pro, Mac Pro? Which one do you mean? Appreciate that super chat, man. I am requesting the cat, PogChamp. He's not in here right now. Iago, period, is not in here right now. He is outside and the door is closed. So I am the cat. There you go. The cat's in the live stream. Here you go. Is the iPhone 7 worth it in 2021 because I have the iPhone 7 now? I would say to upgrade if you have the iPhone 7. This is a good year to upgrade. New color introduced? I think it's possible. I mean, we saw a lot of new colors this year, so I think that's not out of the question for a new MacBook to be a new color. So, IDK with the best Mac desktop computer, I guess I would probably say the iMac. I mean, unless you're a true professional, the iMac or the Mac Mini, because the iMac Pro and the Mac Pro are extreme overkill unless you use it professionally. So, I personally like the iMac the best, just because it has the display and everything built in. So. I guess that means you go get it. I mean, there is time. Maybe at the end of the stream I'll pull them out. Maybe then. I'm too focused right now. Let's see. Any new services coming this time, like Apple Fitness, like a movie-based service? I think it's possible. I think I would never rule out new software, new services for Apple to announce. I've learned my lesson to never rule that out. So I think we could see something about Apple Fitness, but I don't think it's going to be anything too major at this event. Yeah, I made a video on the iMac when I got it, so I have some iMac videos here on the channel. iPad Pro 2021, am I excited? Yeah, I'm extremely excited for any iPad Pro that comes out. That's hands down one of my favorite Apple products that Apple has ever sold. Let's see. Please explain screen time during multitasking. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Do you suggest any specific monitors for a dual monitor set it up with the MacBook Pro? I don't know. I like BenQ monitors, but I don't really have any suggestions. I don't use dual monitor setups very often. I mean, I have some monitors, but I just don't really use them too often. I don't use my MacBook in general too often, just because I have my fully loaded iMac here. I really only use my MacBook when I'm when I'm traveling and when I'm out and about. So I don't really bring a monitor with me. So, will Apple switch to AMD processor? You mean like GPU wise? That's possible, yeah. Will we see a MacBook Pro 16-inch refresh? Possibly, possibly. I think it was more of a likelihood earlier on, but the latest rumors are saying that we may not see that as soon. We'll probably just see two 13-inch MacBooks today. Let's see. I know it's Apple, but with the ARM Max and the chips being made in-house, could you potentially get more for a cheaper price point? Yes, I think that's exactly what's going to happen, Jack. That's what I mentioned earlier. I think that we're going to see the same price, maybe possibly a little bit more or a little bit cheaper, but I think it's going to be around the same price as we've been seeing, just with a much better value proposition, because we're going to have much better CPUs. Everything's going to be more efficient, better battery life, better performance, better GPU, everything I think is going to be improved for the same price. So, yes. Will you be doing an iPhone 12 mini versus iPhone XS? Yeah, I'll be doing a lot of comparisons like that. New iPhone today. I wish we were getting the iPhone 13. Where's the 14.2 follow-up and iPhone 12 Pro Max and Mini reviews? I don't have the Pro Max and Mini reviews yet, or products in hand yet. And the 14.2 follow-up is most likely coming tomorrow. Is Silicon the end of the road for boot camp? That's actually a really good question. And I don't know. I think that I don't know. That's hard to answer. I really have no insight on that. So I will be really interested to see what happens with boot camp though, because I did use that a lot back in the day. Any plans about an Nvidia collab? I've not heard anything, but I wouldn't rule anything out honestly at this point in 2020. So, are AirPods coming out? No, probably not. We're not going to see any AirPods today. You guys just watched that. No, AirPods Studio or AirPods 3, I wouldn't say are coming out today. I think that we're probably going to see those in March. However, if I had to guess, if it was between the AirPods 3 and the AirPods Studio, I would think that the AirPods 3 would be more likely to come out. Yeah, the live stream, the actual Apple live stream is down in the description below. Like I said, I can't show the actual stream on here. I will have a live blog going from The Verge, so you guys don't miss anything, and I'll be listening to it here myself. But what a lot of people like to do is keep my chat open, because I don't like to talk a lot when they're talking, and have both streams open at the same time, or they just go to the Apple stream. You guys can go to the Apple stream and then come back here after you finish watching the stream and come back here to chat about what you saw, what you like, just reacting pretty much to the event. So that's how I do it. Most of you guys know that have been in here for all the live streams this year. Yeah, a lot of people have the 12 Pro Max and 12 Mini because Apple sent them, press units, and they have to send them back. But I do not have any yet. I'm on Apple's hate list right now, so hopefully next year. Hopefully. Will this be the end of Hackintosh due to ARM-based Macs? I think that's the same. I think so, yes. But like I said, who knows? But I do think it may be the end of Hackintosh. But there may be another workaround in the future. Who knows? Is there going to be Apple Glass or Apple Car? 0.0001% chance. Highly, highly, highly unlikely. The Apple Car, impossible. 0% for the Apple Car. The glasses, 0.001% chance. I'm not actually on Apple's hate list, I don't think. I'm just saying because I've done like jailbreak videos in the past and I cover a lot of leaks that Apple may not want to send me product because of that. So I don't know. I do not know. Do you think they will announce AirTags? Yes, I do. Apple VPN? That's actually pretty interesting. Apple doesn't have a VPN service. That would be pretty interesting. Avatar with the super chat. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Do you think a new iPad is going to be announced later? No, I do not. I do not think we're going to see that. Do you think they're going to release the MagSafe Duo today? The MagSafe Duo has already been released. That came out, it's coming out on Friday as well. So, raid from where? From where, Jack? iPad Pro or AirTags? Do you mean what's most likely to be released today? That's the AirTags. Are you asking which one I like? I like both, but I mean, obviously, I'm really interested in the AirTags because it's an all new product. So. LS stands for Lunar Society. Apple is launching a space program. Man, there's so many ways you can interpret it. LS, there's so many things. I mean, especially because it could be large, it could be little at the beginning, or it could be two completely separate things, like somebody mentioned. L series and then S series of chips. But he put a lowercase s. This is a lowercase s, which means it's probably two words. If they were both capital, I would think it would have something to do with the chips, but I think we can rule that out because the S is not capitalized. More likely ARM or glass? ARM for sure, unless you're talking if you're talking about the Apple Glass. I don't think we're going to see Apple Glass today. What's the probable chance of a MacBook Air? I think actually it's pretty high, but it may not be called the MacBook Air. It may just be MacBook. It could be MacBook Air. We'll have to wait and see what they name it, but we will see most likely an entry level MacBook with silicon inside, silicon chip. How about a new iMac today? I don't think we're going to see it. I would love to see it though. I would love to see a new MacBook or a new iMac today, the redesigned iMac, but unfortunately I do not think we're going to see that today. I think we will see it next year though. Would be disappointing if one more thing is AirTags. I honestly think it will be. I think it will be, unfortunately. But I mean, I shouldn't say unfortunately. We're the not everybody watches these leaks, so a lot of people will be surprised to see that as well, because not a lot of people, not everybody watches and keeps up with the leaks. If they show off the glass, I would pre-order that in a heartbeat. Yeah, that would be crazy. I just personally don't see it happening because we haven't seen any leaks or rumors about Apple Glass in what, like many months now. So, and plus by now I think Love to Dream or somebody would have mentioned something on Twitter, some kind of cryptic tweet. We would have seen something like that. So, yeah. So we'll see. I wonder if Gurman said anything for Apple Track. Yeah. So this is Apple Track as well. So this is the keychain that I was talking about earlier. So we may see like these keychains, like kind of accessories for the AirTags as well, and plus 2 different sizes of AirTags. So it should be pretty interesting. I'm predicting 2 sizes. The case or whatever you want to call it, the thing that holds the AirTag as well, the keychain. So the event starts in about 7 minutes, as you see right there. And once again, the live stream is linked in the description below. Apple's, official live stream. I will be showing you guys. Let me go ahead there now. Actually, The Verge. They always have a live blog that I cover, that I show here on the stream. And again, this is just so I do not get hit with copyright and I can never make videos again. That's why I do this, because this doesn't contain any, Apple content that they can take down or anything like that. So let's see. Who else has like 15 billion ads? You shouldn't have any ads on this video. This live stream, you shouldn't have any. I don't think I even enabled monetization. If I did, it's just for the beginning. So you shouldn't be having any ads on this live stream. Event starts, stock plummets. Hey, that's how it always is. That's how it always is with Apple events. Buy the hype, sell the news. Is it wise to buy MacBook first gen silicon? That's another thing that I want to talk about, and I'll be talking about that more in my review videos as well. Anytime you buy first generation of something, there are going to be issues, and always keep in mind that's going to be the first of its kind. So, take that as you will. But I think a lot of people are probably going to hold off just for that reason. But I don't know. I mean, Apple's also been developing this for a long time, so I don't think we're going to see any kind of major issues. But we'll see. But to answer your question, is it wise? I don't think it's unwise. Let me just put it that way. Apple stock paid today? Yes, it did. I sold all mine before I went live on stream. All my calls, at least. Excited for the budget MacBook. Yeah, we should see that entry level with silicon. That'll be nice to see. 30-watt Anker charger can damage iPhone. It doesn't necessarily have to do with what charger it is and what wattage it is. It has to do with how hot it makes your phone. So I don't personally use that charger, so I'm not too sure. But if there's issues, can't there be updates to better it? Yeah, there will definitely be issues, and there will definitely be software that helps fix it. But there could also be, I don't think there's really going to be issues. I think it's more so going to be things that Apple learns from and makes Gen 2, the next round of Silicon Macs just that much better. So that's my thought process. I want the website back. What time do you think it will be back up and running? After the event. It's usually after the event. And this event, I'm not expecting to be too long. I mean, this event, I think maybe like an hour 15, something like that. I haven't checked the booking times, how long Apple booked the stage for. But I would not expect this to be too long, just because Apple really already talked about Silicon. This is more so just the kind of announcement of the products, the exact products that Silicon is going inside of. So, and then we could also see the AirTags, but I just can't see this being an overly long event. So, will AirTags be announced? Like I said, good chance, but nothing is confirmed. I think we will, but there's reports saying that we will not, and it's only going to be about the Macs. So if it's anything like the previous Apple events, if you guys remember on the previous Apple events, Apple always at the very beginning said this event is about this and that's it. Like you guys remember when the iPad and the Apple Watch were announced. They said at the very beginning, Tim Cook said at the very beginning, this event is only about these 2 products. So We'll see what they announce at the beginning, but of course there is always the likelihood of that one more thing. You know, it is in the title of this event, so we could even see an actual one more thing at the event, and not just it being the name of the event itself. So we got about 3 minutes, guys. 3 minutes before the event starts. Hopefully, you guys that do decide to leave come back here afterwards to share your thoughts on all the new products that Apple announces. It's always fun talking to you guys about that stuff and reacting and seeing your guys' reaction, things like that. Especially because Apple doesn't have like the chat enabled on their live stream, so there's really nowhere to talk about this stuff. So that's another reason I love doing these, because it gives you guys a place to talk. So glowing logo. I don't think we're going to see a glowing logo on the back of the iMac or MacBook, unfortunately. I wish it would come back, but I just don't see it happening personally. I'll be back. Good, good, good. Why does Apple delivery take so long? A lot of things are back ordered right now. So that's probably why. How do you think they manage battery with 5G and 120 hertz next year? I don't know. Apple always does it with software, so I think it's going to be something software related. We may even see bigger batteries as well. So, Trucy with the super chat. Appreciate that, man. Thanks, Brandon, for your vids there. The reason that my iPhone 11 is 1 year old but still have its battery health at 100%. Love your channel and content. Hey, appreciate that. I'm glad to hear that your iPhone 11 is a year old and still has 100% battery health. I'm glad you listened to the tips too, because a lot of people complain about the battery life but don't actually follow all the tips I give in those videos. So appreciate that super chat. Butterfly keys today. Will the 2019 MacBook Pros be discontinued? I don't know. I think it's a possibility, but we'll have to see what exactly gets announced today. If the new MacBook Pro doesn't get announced today, then probably not, but we'll see. Are you using the 12 Pro shooting this? No, I'm not using the 12 Pro shooting this. I'm using a Logitech webcam. I'm staying here instead of the Apple stream. Hey, appreciate that. I'm going to try not to talk too much just so you can actually hear the other stream if you are too. So I'll be listening to it in one ear and then kind of talking about it. And, you guys will see the live blog here as well. So it's not like you're going to miss anything if you stay in the stream. You're going to see every single thing, from the stage and everything on this live blog here as well. So we'll just be in here reacting together. So what happened to Apple Glass? I mean, I don't know. I mean, some people even called Apple Glass. You guys remember the whole video that Jon Prosser made about Apple Glass leaking, and he was like the only one who talked about it. Some people said that maybe that was just completely fake. So I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and put my AirPod in so I can hear what's going on at this event. Let's see. Is there any new MacBooks do you think that will have a cheaper one like the iPhone SE or 12 mini? They're going to have the entry level like they always do. Like the, whether they're going to call it just MacBook or MacBook Air, that's their quote unquote SE, you could call it. So the Apple event starts and literally, there you go. It just hit 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So the event is actually starting right now. And like I said, that link for the official Apple event, for the actual keynote is in the description below. I can't show it here on the stream. Otherwise, I would get copyright striked and never be able to see you guys in the chat again. So like I said, if you want to go there, go ahead. It'd be fun. I'd appreciate it if you guys came back. It'd be fun to chat with you guys about everything. Or you could stay in here or you could stay in both, whatever you guys want to do. One CTF, appreciate that. Hey, do you think there will ever be an iPod Touch 8? I personally think that the iPod Touch is dead. I personally think that we won't see another iPod Touch. I could be wrong, but the iPod Touch 7 was such a great iPod Touch for what it was that I just don't see an iPod Touch 8. Especially because if they did, it'd probably have to have a full screen design, and then it'd get too expensive, and it'd be like, why wouldn't you just buy an iPhone for that price? So I personally do not. I'm really curious to see if Love to Dream said something now that it's 1 o'clock. Nope, nothing from Love to Dream. So we're gonna have to figure out what LS means here. So you guys pay attention as well. And if you're not in the stream, if you leave, come back just to say, react to the LS, because I'm still there's so many theories about that. And yes, the Apple Store is still down. The Apple Store will be down until the event's over. So yeah, so it is starting right now, basically just showing Apple Park and everything. So as you can see right here, everything is showing right here. Yeah, LiDAR sensor is one of the possibilities as well. There you go, man. I think that's what a lot of people do. There's Tim Cook, man. That campus is just incredible. Breaking news: Tim Cook is really excited for today. He says that every time. Yeah, it'll be live after as well. So so we're talking about the Apple Watches and previous products that were already announced. So Trucy with the super chat, appreciate that, man. Thank you. Is it just a camera upgrade, battery upgrade? I'm seeing like I would go with the 12 Pro Max. It's the better camera and better battery over the 12 Pro. So we're still talking about products from that were already released earlier this year. So I know, right? Apple's live stream production is just on another level. The site's back up if you click on Mac at the top. Let's see. But if you go to one of them though, yeah, but these still aren't new though. Interesting. So I wonder what part is actually down then. So if you go to buy, yeah, so it's still down. You've always been able to see the stuff, but when you go to buy, it's down. Over 50% of users are new to Mac. Wow, that's crazy. So the Mac business grew by nearly 30% last quarter. All right, so now we're just seeing kind of a history of the Mac. Yeah, so now we're watching a video about Mac users who are all very hip and never accept the status quo. So just a lot of videos like Apple always does at the beginning, and then we'll get into the fun stuff after we talk about the stats and of course showing these videos. So release date for Big Sur, we'll probably see that at this event. And like I said, it could be today. If I had my Mustang still, I would. Super. Don't have it anymore though. I know it started, Jess. We're talking about it right now. We're reacting to it right now. Talking about the Mac, we're watching the video still about the Mac and just the users and how it affects your lifestyle. Apple loves to do this with their commercials. Always so well done. Why are they showing glowing Mac laptops only? Yeah, I didn't realize that actually. They are. Yeah, this production quality is insane. All right, so Apple Silicon confirmed, as we all expected. It was pretty much already confirmed, but here we go. We're going to hear about the Silicon Macs right off the bat. Super cool video it's showing too. So we got John Turnus up there, VP of Hardware Engineering. Tim can teleport. So what are we going to talk about first? They're showing the iMac and all the Macs up there, so anything's possible. That's true. So just talking about Apple Silicon already being in the Mac and or in the iPhones and iPads for over a decade. This is the live coverage. First chip. So the M1 chip is the first chip designed for the Mac. There we go. So LS, so the LS does not have to do with the chip, like I said. So M1 is going to be the chip used in the new Macs. Very fitting, very fitting. Man, I can't wait to hear these specs. So we got Johnny Ive. That's not Johnny Ive. Johnny Sroji. Giant leap in performance per watt. So I can't wait to see what these specs are, the percentage bumps in performance here. The price won't be reduced, most likely. So unified memory architecture, integrated GPU, neural engine, everything we expected. I wouldn't trust anybody else talking about the chip except for him. It makes it sound so much better than it actually is. 16 billion transistors. Of course, they're using the 5 nanometer technology with these chips, just like with the new iPhones. Yeah, these Macs are gonna be insane. Just hearing him talking about this is crazy. World's fastest CPU core. Wow. So 4 performance cores. So it's an 8 core, 4 high performance single thread cores, and 4 performance cores. So 4 of the world's fastest. So that's gonna be crazy. Wow. So 4 high efficiency cores on their own deliver similar performance as the current dual core MacBook Air. Each individual core does. So is this going to be in the MacBook or what? Yeah, I was going to say this. It seems like this is straight for the MacBook Air. So we may actually see the MacBook Air like predicted. A lot of people in the chat were asking about that as well. Yeah, so look at the power consumption as well. 2 times better performance with much better power consumption. Much less power consumption, I should say. The event's going on right now. The link is in the description. So here we go about the graphics. A lot of people were wondering about graphics as well. Yes, it's started. Gains of performance per watt have been very small from one chip to the next. So I mean, just these graphs are crazy. So yeah, I think this is like I mentioned earlier. This is leading right to the MacBook Air, and then hopefully we'll see the MacBook Pro after this. So 8-core GPU as well. He reminds me of my physics professor at university. He seems like a physics professor. Yeah, so this M1 chip is insane, as we expected. There's too many numbers to even talk about in this live stream, so I'll cover all these in my video and after the stream. World's fastest integrated graphics. Yeah, if this is the same price as the MacBook Air right now, that's going to be an insanely good value. Insanely good value. 11 trillion operations per second. So of course the secure enclave in there as well. 16-core Neural Engine. So fastest CPU and fastest integrated graphics. Industry leading for pretty much everything. Thunderbolt and USB 4 controller built in. I know a lot of people are curious about the Thunderbolt ports as well. So they didn't say exactly if it was for the MacBook Air. They didn't mention it yet, so. Man, this room is insane. This room that he's standing in is insane looking. The lighting is awesome. So still no mention of exactly which products, but of course this is for all Macs. Okay, so we're talking about Big Sur now. So talking about Big Sur, so we didn't see any products announced yet. So maybe after Big Sur we'll hear about that. And we should hear a release date for Big Sur now too. This picture. So your Mac instantly wakes up from sleep just like the iPhone and iPad. That's going to be a nice feature, actually. Safari, 1 times faster, speedier at JavaScript, 2 times more responsive. Craig dude looks creepy. Nobody's sure, inching. I don't think so, though. It is thin. That's why I think it's going to be the MacBook Air. Safari is faster than Chrome, for sure. So a lot of talk still about Big Sur. Better battery life, quiet performance. So a lot of the stuff we've already pretty much known about Big Sur is being talked about. Nothing too crazy. We still haven't seen any new products yet. So yeah, not designed for games. They didn't even mention gaming for the M1 chip. The 2020 MacBook Pro is still great. I would keep the 2020 MacBook Pro if you have it. So just talking still about Big Sur, just a lot of talks about Big Sur and how much faster it is, especially when it's paired with silicon. Still no release date yet. We still don't know. Maybe at the end of this segment we'll see a release date for it. I'm hoping he says after the event today. It's gonna be released later today. Yeah, M1 is like A1, like we have on the iPhone. Yes, correct. A leaker said the AirPods 3 are going to be in the live. Who was the leaker, though? There's plenty of leakers. Yes, new MacBooks are expected. We should be seeing new MacBooks after they announce, after they talk about Big Sur and things like that. We already heard about the chips, um, a lot of the stats, but we haven't seen the actual products that they're going to be inside of yet. So we should see a new MacBook, at least one new MacBook today. What do you mean? What happens to the Apple event? It's going on right now. At the link in the description below. No AirTags yet. We have not seen anything with AirTags just yet. You can run iOS apps on the Mac, but devs can opt out. Yep, so we already heard about this. This is all stuff we've already pretty much heard about with Big Sur. So the fact that we're talking about this so extensively, I think that we're going to see Big Sur released today. There's too much talk about it, I think. I mean, if not today, next week. But I think today is a good likelihood. So we're just seeing videos now, basically, of developers talking about working with Big Sur. Yeah, I like the Big Sur icons too. Big Sur in general, I love. Yes, you can play Among Us on your MacBook. I know, right, Corey? Just get to the good stuff. They always do this, though. Got to keep that retention there. Got to keep people watching. Among Us MacBook. It's about MacBooks. I mean, it's really about the silicon chips more than it is the MacBooks, but it's about that. And then we could also be seeing the AirTags today as well. So we're just still watching a video about developers working with Big Sur. Yeah, they did show Among Us literally on the MacBook, so that's really the only game they've shown though. That's not even really an intensive game, so yeah, I'm really curious to see how it does with gaming, and not just gaming like Among Us, like simple stuff. I'm really curious to see how it does with something like Call of Duty or like PUBG or DayZ or something like that. We don't know the screen sizes for the new MacBook yet, but we're expecting it to be 13 inch. We're expecting two 13-inch MacBooks. Every time we see a game on screen for a fraction of a second, they still look like iPad games. So there's that. We don't know if it can run Crysis or not. So, like I said, they're probably going to announce it at the very end. That's what I said before the event started. We'll probably see them at the very end say, and Big Sur is available today, or Big Sur will be available next week. It'll probably show the Big Sur icon and then a date underneath of it. That's what I'm guessing we'll see. So, I hope we actually see one of these Macs. Like it's zooming out of the. So, still showing Big Sur on the back. I want to see a new MacBook. Come on. MacBook Pro or MacBook Air. Or both. Here we go. Here we go. They're announcing it. It's going to be the MacBook Air. Watch. Super cool animations as they always do. Yep, MacBook Air. New MacBook Air confirmed. Such a great video introducing this MacBook Air. So it's probably going to be a 13-inch MacBook Air with the M1 chip inside. Look how thin that thing is. I love how thin the MacBook Airs are. So MacBook Air confirmed. All right, so now Laura's going to tell us, Laura Metz going to talk about the new MacBook Air and how it performs. We should see a lot of comparisons to the previous gen MacBook Air as well. World's best-selling 13-inch notebook, the MacBook Air is. I think this is going to be the one for most people. The Air is. I do hope we see the MacBook Pro too, though. I'm with you there. Yeah, AirTags would be the one last thing, the one more thing if they announce them. This is far from a boring event. It's just not iPhones or anything. So if you're not interested in a computer, then yeah, it may be boring, but it's super exciting if you're into computers. It could be, man. It could be leather sleeve. So up to 3 times faster than the previous MacBook Air. Very solid. I bet the Pro is going to be much more than 3 times, though. The Pro is probably going to be much more than 3 times faster. Maybe not much more, but probably like a 5x or something. So 5 times better graphics than the previous MacBook Air. That reveal was nice, right? No AirTags yet. We may see them at the end, though. They can handle multiple streams of ProRes 4K on a MacBook Air. That's pretty impressive. The MacBook Air is faster than 98% of PC laptops sold in the past year. Wow. Yeah, exactly, Benvito. 2 times faster SSDs. Okay, I'm more interested in stuff like that than I am, stuff like the CPU and GPU. Yeah, the MacBook Pro should be crazy. We should see even bigger bumps in performance. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, here's what they say right after I said it. SSDs, honestly, that's a bigger deal than some of these other numbers. Completely silent. It is hard because there's a big price difference in the two. So here's the battery specs. Longest battery life ever in a MacBook Air, of course. I mean, that's kind of expected with this new chip. Yeah, completely silent, 2 times faster SSDs. This is a solid upgrade here for MacBook Air. Much better camera too, much better front facing camera for those Zoom calls and things like that. Face detection. P3 wide color gamut on the display. And the Touch ID on it and everything. Yeah, this thing's solid. This thing is going to be really solid for the price point. Yep, so my prediction was right on the pricing. Still starts at the same price as previous MacBooks. So MacBook Air was $999 before, still $999. You get $100 off if you have an @edu email address. So $1,000 for that MacBook Air is a great price. Those are some pretty big improvements. The SSD specifically, 2 times faster, completely silent. They were worried it was going to go up. Yeah, I had a strong feeling the prices were going to stay the same. 18-hour battery life, 3.5 times faster CPU, 5 times better GPU performance, 2 times faster SSDs, silent design. That's going to be very popular. Very popular. Now I want to see the Pro. Yeah, a fanless Mac, like that's crazy. That shows you how efficient this chip is. That M1 chip has to be extremely efficient for them to be able to pull the fan completely out, for it to be completely silent. All right, here we go. This should be the MacBook Pro. Oh, it's a Mac Mini? Wow, Mac Mini. Okay, that was unexpected. I didn't think they were actually going to show the new Mac Mini. They were just going to talk about it. New Mac Mini, okay. I may actually get this one. I've been wanting a Mac Mini for a while. They're saying it appears to have a fan in the Mac Mini. A lot of people, Richard. Yeah, so the fact that they went from MacBook to Mac Mini makes me think they may not actually announce the MacBook Pro. I would love to see the iMac though. Yep, Mac Mini. Depending on the specs of this, I will be pre-ordering the Mac Mini day one for sure. repairs will probably be easier, but I mean, I don't know the internals yet. We'll have to see a teardown. Three times faster CPU. Eight-core GPU on the Mac Mini. 6 times faster graphics. Wow. 6 times faster graphics on the Mac Mini. I'm almost sold. I have to see the price. This comment here. Which CPU? It's the M1 chip. Apple's M1 chip is the CPU. Yeah, MacBook Pro is starting to look a little unlikely. The fact that they went from MacBook Air to Mac Mini and kind of skipped, where another notebook could be, we may not see the MacBook Pro. If you compare the Mac Mini to the top selling PC desktop, it's a tenth of the size with 5 times performance. Wow. I'm very interested in the Mac Mini. So it does have a fan. So we do have a fan in the Mac Mini, but we do not have a fan in the MacBook Air. And we have Thunderbolt and USB 4. Nice. I wouldn't rule it out just yet. It's looking a little unlikely, but just came back because I knew you would be interested in the Mac Mini in the first words you say. Yep, I'm very interested in it. 6 times better though, and it has a headphone jack. Wow, so it's $690. So it's $100 less than it was before. Okay, wow, $699 for the Mini. Yeah, 100% getting that. I never bought the original Mac Mini because I thought it was too much for what you got, and you may as well just go up to a MacBook at that point. But $699 for that much better performance, I'm getting that. I mean, just look at those specs. 15 times better machine learning, 3 times faster CPU, 6 times faster graphics, and it's $100 less. Sold. Yeah, that's a solid bump there. That's a great upgrade for the Mac Mini. Much needed upgrade. I'm glad you can see my excitement. Uh-oh. So we got more. We're still not done. So we may see the MacBook Pro here. MacBook Pro? MacBook Pro maybe? Come on. Oh, please be the iMac. I don't think it's going to be, but please be the iMac. It's probably going to be the MacBook Pro. Yep, MacBook Pro. MacBook Pro, here we go. We thought it, they pump faked us, but we got the MacBook Pro. Okay, I can't wait to see these. I cannot wait to see the gains on these MacBook Pros over the previous gen. Because the previous gen MacBook Pro, the 16-inch, was already incredible. My 16-inch MacBook Pro is the best performing laptop I've ever owned by far. Face ID. Here we go. So we do have a fan. Touch ID in the corner. So we do have this the fan as well. So Let's see how much more powerful it is. Way more powerful. They're describing it. 8 times better performance over the previous MacBook Pro. 8 times faster. Wow. Wow. 5 times faster graphics. I knew it would be much more than the Air was, but 8 times and 5 times better graphics on an already powerful MacBook Pro. Man, if this is the same price, that's gonna be crazy too. Thank you. Yeah, it does still have the bezels as expected. Wow, can play back 8K ProRes video in Resolve without dropping a single frame. Up to 3 times faster than the best-selling Windows laptop in its class. And it should be the same price too. World's fastest notebook as expected. And we do have that fan, but the thermal inside is going to be much more efficient, I believe, than the previous generation. "17 hours of web battery life, 20 hours of video playback. Longest battery life ever in a Mac." That's impressive. We knew silicon was going to be crazy, but just seeing it still is just crazy to actually see it being announced. We have this. Okay, so better studio quality mics, which were already incredible in the previous gen. Same FaceTime camera. I swear they're never going to update the FaceTime camera. I don't know why. Activation lock on the Mac. So same touch bar, same FaceTime camera. Let's see the price now. We should see the price now. It should be about the same. I would think it's the same as the previous MacBook Pro. Yep, same webcam, unfortunately. $12.99. Yep. So there we go. Same price. $12.99. Wow. $12.99 and then $10.99 for education, like if you're in college or something. Yeah, for $9.99 versus $12.99, I would spend more to get the MacBook Pro, unless you just never see yourself editing video or photos or anything. But for the battery life too, I mean, man, the MacBook Pro is very compelling. $12.99. I will be getting both. I will definitely be getting all 3 of the Macs announced today, just to make videos for you guys. Wow. We need that iMac though. They're not going to announce it, but we need it. Yeah, I like the Mac Mini a lot. I'm very excited about the Mac Mini. Yeah, so no iMac as expected, but we did get both the 13-inch MacBooks just like we saw leaked. Exactly, Lynn. Exactly. So they're using 100% recycled aluminum cases in the MacBook Air and the Mini, so not on the MacBook Pro. So 3 new ARM Macs today. I did not expect the Mini. I expected the Air and the Pro, but I did not expect the Mini today. Please tell me we're going to get AirTags now too, though. So 60% battery energy consumption. Big Sur, Thursday, November 12th. Okay, so not today, but 2 days from now. Wow, Thursday release. That's really rare for Apple. So there we go. For everybody wondering about Big Sur, I'm just going to tweet this out because a lot of people have been asking me about that. I'm just going to copy this. I'll do it on my... Was it the 14th? All right, so we got a video now. It's not looking like AirTags, but I still wouldn't completely rule it out yet. So we just have a video now of the new Macs. Man, I'm actually really excited for this. I didn't think I'd be as excited for these as I am. I mean, I really had hope that I would be excited, but just seeing it now is awesome. I'm very excited. Especially the Mac Mini. I really did not expect the Mac Mini at all. I did not expect that Mac Mini. So we'll see if there's one more thing. I mean, the way this is going, it doesn't seem like there will be, but we'll see. 20 hours battery time. I'm returning mine. No joke. Hey, I think a lot of people are in the same boat. A lot of people will probably be selling their MacBooks and getting this one. We still don't know a release date though. I'm guessing we'll probably be able to pre-order on Friday. I'm guessing the pre-orders will be Friday, and we may see it released the following Friday, like they do the iPhones. Yeah. But the new iPhones come out on Friday, so maybe not. Maybe Thursday will be the day too for that. We'll see. Yes, it comes with a charger, exactly. When it's pre-order, we don't know yet, but probably this week. It's usually on Fridays, but since they're releasing Big Sur on Thursday, I think Thursday is a possibility as well. Let's see. Yeah, LS hasn't been announced yet. What is LS? We haven't seen LS yet. Or have we? LS. Let's see what Love to Dream had to say. Yeah, nothing for... What was LS mean, though? We haven't seen... The price is the same for the Pro. It's staying the same. So is that it? So no AirTags? No AirTags? Alright, so that's it. No AirTags. And what did I miss it, or what does LS stand for? Alright, so that's it for the Apple event, but what is LS? Man, I don't know. I'm extremely excited for the new Macs. I'm extremely excited for the new Macs. So now I just want to see them on Apple's website. So no AirTags, or what is L? Did anybody know what LS was? Did we see an LS in there that just went over my head? Because we saw this, but we didn't see anything LS. It wasn't live stream. Yeah, they're showing these different commercials and things like that. No, I didn't. No, the AirTags did not come out. So it's just showing these old commercials now. Everybody's telling me to go back. Let me open up my iPad just to make sure we're not missing anything here. Okay, yeah, so nothing going on. This live blog told me there's nothing else going on. Yeah, I didn't think so. All right, so let's check out the website now. Man, I'm so excited for the Mac Mini. I did not think we were going to see a Mac Mini today. So hopefully we'll start getting more people back in here that were in here before the stream officially started. So unfortunately, yeah, no AirTags. We thought that was a possibility of being the one more thing because they were prepared. I mean, everything lined up for AirTags to be ready, as John Prosser and Love to Dream said, but we did not see AirTags. Only the 2 MacBooks that we expected. So we did expect the 2 MacBooks, and then we got the surprise of the Mac Mini, which I'm super excited about. $699, $100 less than the previous gen Mac Mini, and it's like, what, 6 times faster CPU, something crazy on the GPU as well. So yeah, super excited about that. And I really want to see it up here on Apple's website so I can go ahead and see when the pre-orders and things like that are as well. Because we didn't even see anything for pre-orders, did we? And we still didn't see what LS was either. Wait, Love to Dream said one more thing. What's he talking about? I don't know what Love to Dream's talking about with one more thing. We did, yeah, we got the 13-inch MacBook Pro. The 16-inch may come next year, but we only saw the 13-inch this year. Pre-order starting today. Available starting on the 7th. Okay. So there we go. So let's go back to Twitter over here. Yeah, I'm going to check the Apple Store now. So the AirTag, that's crazy because the AirTags are, okay, so here we go, it's up now. So this is what Apple's website looks like right now. So here is the MacBook Air. Man, I'm more interested, I want the MacBook Pro for sure and the Mac Mini, the MacBook Air too though. But for $999 versus $1299, like I think the MacBook Pro is the way to go. Let me go ahead and X out of this real quick. I think the MacBook Pro is the way to go. So this is the Air right here. Of course we have everything. So everything's available on the 17th. So next week, 11/17. And is the MacBook Pro the same date? Yeah, so 11/17 for that as well. And let's go ahead and buy. Let's see what the, okay, so the buy options aren't there yet. So we can't buy. Let's see if we go back. The price of the MacBook Air for students is $100 less. So $899 for students. But you can see the specs here for the Air. 3 times faster GPU, CPU 3 times faster, GPU up to 5 times faster, and the Neural Engine 9 times faster for machine learning. And of course, much better battery life. But the battery life on the MacBook Pro is the one I'm most interested in. 20 hours of battery life. That's like almost double the battery life of the previous MacBook Pro. So 2.8 faster CPU, 5 times faster graphics. That's what I'm excited about, is the 5 times faster graphics there. And I like how Apple uses the term supercharged now. Supercharged by the Apple M1 chip. Yeah, so we're seeing all these things here, but when you go to buy, you still can't. Okay, so now it's up. Okay, so now the buy, now you can actually go to the buy screen here. So we have different configurations. I was wondering if we would not have, if we would just have one configuration, but it looks like we have 2 different configurations. So this is for the MacBook Pro. So it starts at, so 8 core is the standard, and then we have 256 and 512. So I wonder if we, so of course $1299 and $1499, that's the difference between the 256 and the 512. I would honestly, always get the 512 just because I think that 256 is way too low. So you can add a terabyte SSD for $200 more. So 8 gigabytes. So the RAM stayed the same. So 8 gigs is the standard, and then you can up that to 16 for an extra $200. So if we did it like I'm going to configure mine, so I'm going to do 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte storage. So it's going to be about $2,000. So about the same as it was with the previous generation. So I want to see the Mac Mini though. The Mac Mini is the one that's exciting to me because it was so unexpected. And the performance is crazy. So 3 times faster CPU, 6 times faster graphics, 15 times faster machine learning with that new Neural Engine. And this is also available on the 17th. and starts at $100 less than the previous Mac Mini, which I thought all along was pretty overpriced for what it was. So it's good to see that bump back down to $699. Um, yeah, I'm bummed there's no AirTags as well. And yes, macOS Big Sur will be released in 2 days, like I mentioned on Twitter. If you guys saw over on Twitter, I did post when Big Sur will get released. Um, yeah, no AirPod announcements as expected. The only one we were really expecting besides Max were the AirTags, which we didn't see. So, anyways, here's the new Mac Mini. So it's the same situation as the previous generation. Yeah. So as the MacBooks, I should say. So 256, and you have a 512, 699 and 899. Let's see if we go here. So we can bump the memory up to 16. And you can do, it's kind of the same. So pretty much the same options as the MacBooks. So, and I know some people are wondering about what's in the box. So yes, you do get a charger. I know some people were wondering if there was a charger with the MacBooks. Yes, confirmed. You get the 61 watt USB-C power adapter with both the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air. So if I go to Air right here and go to buy, just to confirm, you can see, let's go to this one right here. I don't know what LS was. I'm still trying to figure that out. So the 30 watt USB-C power adapter comes with the MacBook Air, and the 61 watt power adapter comes with the MacBook Pro. No AirTags. We did not see AirTags today, unfortunately. It would have been nice, but we did not see anything with AirTags. MacBook Pro versus MacBook Air. I will be getting all three new Macs, so I will be pre-ordering on. When can we pre-order? Actually, did it say when we can pre-order? Can we pre-order now? Yeah. Okay, so we can pre-order now. I may actually just go ahead and put these in my bag. I'd actually probably rather do it on my phone. But I'm going to go ahead and pre-order all three of these new Macs, and I will be doing a comparison between the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro. And then I may compare like the Mac Mini with these as well, and even compare it to like the previous iMac. So but I don't know, just my first impressions of the MacBook Air versus the MacBook Pro. I think it's worth it to spend a little bit more on the MacBook Pro. So depends on what you do. I mean, 8 GB of memory. That's the thing too, though. Like if you're wanting a MacBook Air, chances are you don't really do a ton of intensive tasks, so you don't need 16 GB of RAM, and you probably don't even need a terabyte of SSD storage. But if you have a MacBook Pro, you're going to definitely want 16 GB of RAM. You're definitely going to want at least a terabyte of SSD storage. So the price goes up, when you fit the demographic of somebody that wants a MacBook Pro. So that's why I said it's really hard to say should you get the MacBook Air or the MacBook Pro, because it totally depends on your situation. So Christina with the super chat, appreciate that. I'd love to stay in the chat, but I have the flu. Oh, sorry about that. It was nice to be in the live stream as always. Hey, appreciate that, Christina. Thank you. Hope you get better. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's hard to tell you if you should buy the MacBook Air or the MacBook Pro, just because they're two totally different Macs intended for two totally different people. If you do schoolwork, if you're mainly wanting it for schoolwork and things like that, then get the MacBook Air. I mean, easy decision there. The base MacBook Air, no upgrades. But if you do, maybe even just light photo or video editing, if you do really intensive tasks, if you are a developer and you code, then the MacBook Pro is an easy choice there, in my opinion. Brown Becky with the 5, appreciate that. I can finally update my 2014 Air. The battery is done now. I know it won't get much for it, but I think it will upgrade to the MacBook Air. Yeah, I think that's a good choice. I think upgrading from 2014, good on you for sticking it out and waiting until this is, the best upgrade year over year that we've seen for the MacBook Air. So that's going to be a nice improvement for you. Is it a good idea for me to buy Mac Mini now while I wait on the new iMac and with Apple Silicon, or should I just wait? It depends. It depends on what you do, and depends on what you have now. I mean, if you have a computer that's struggling now and you really need that performance, for the next, who knows how long, next 6 months or so, maybe even more, then I would say, yeah, get the Mac Mini now. Especially if you already have like a monitor and things like that, you won't have to spend a lot of extra money, then I think it's worth it to go ahead and get it now. The difference between the MacBook Pro and the Air, a lot of things. I mean, the battery life, the performance. The MacBook Air also doesn't have a fan, so it's going to be a lot quieter, and it's going to be a lot more, easier on the lap. you can say. Like, it's not going to get as hot on your lap. So, but of course, who knows? This is all just theoretical and based on what Apple said. I will be getting these in hand as well on the 17th. So I will be able to tell you a lot more in my full reviews of those videos. So if you're in this live stream right now and you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I will be getting these new Macs and covering them in depth here on the channel. Only 2 Thunderbolt ports for the Pro. Why not 4? I know. I wish there were 4 as well, but you can see here, 2 Thunderbolt / USB 4 ports. So there are 4. So look, you see the 2 right there, and then 2 over here. So we do have the headphone jack too. A lot of people are wondering if we'd have the headphone jack. You can see right there. Same with the Mac Mini, by the way. The Mac Mini does as well. If we take a look at the gallery here for the Mac Mini, where is it at? Where's the back of it? So you can see there we have the headphone jack right below those USB ports right there. Yeah, Big Sur comes out on Thursday. Big Sur comes out on Thursday. Kind of surprised that it wasn't today, especially given that it was a Tuesday today. Apple usually never releases, I shouldn't say never, but it's rare for Apple to release software on a Thursday. So I'm kind of surprised by that. But then again, nothing should be surprising in 2020. So appreciate that super chat. I was watching the Apple event stream during class. Hey, appreciate that. I think it's time to upgrade from my late 2019 iMac, or 2009 iMac. Yeah, it's a good time to upgrade. I would also, say to wait on the new iMacs too, though, because we should see that new redesigned iMac next year at some point. But like somebody mentioned in the chat earlier, the Mac Mini could be a good kind of hold you over computer, especially if you just stick with 512 gigabytes and just use a lot of external drives like I do. You're talking about just $1,000 for a really good computer. And then you could sell this, and make some of that money back and get the new iMac. So yeah, unfortunately we still have the 720p webcam. Nothing changed with the webcam. I don't understand why. Apple's been keeping this for so long and it's just not good. So I think it's time to update my 2013 iMac. I mean, yeah. Like I said, though, we are seeing a redesigned iMac with silicon in the works. It is being worked on. We know that for sure. So it may be worth it to hold off until next year as well, or maybe get something like the MacBook or the Mac Mini in the time leading up to that, and then sell it before the new iMac comes out, so you can make some money back and then get the new iMac. MacBook Pro 16 now, or wait for M1 for video editing? I mean, based on the gains we saw, I would probably wait. I would probably wait if I were you. I mean, the 13 inch is fine too, though. So, if you want 16 inches and you don't want anything lower than that, then wait. But I would take a look at least at the 13 inch. Maybe go into the store and take a look at the 13 inch and see what you think about it, because you may like it, and it's going to have those crazy gains as well. Why no AirTags? I have no clue why we didn't see AirTags today. Everything pointed to AirTags coming at this event today. Not everything, but a lot of things added up. I mean, we already saw the production. We heard, at least the leaks were that the production was already ready. They were ready to hit the stores, as soon as this coming week. So not sure why we didn't see AirTags. How does the M1 chip compare to the Core i3 or Core i5? It doesn't compare. It's miles better. Miles better. Is the M1 base MacBook Air better, or should I pay more for the Intel one? The M1 base is better. The base should be better for sure. I would go M1 over the Intel if it were me, especially because now you have the no fan inside. You have the 16 core Neural Engine, 8 core CPU and GPU. I just think it's solid for $999. Or of course, if you get 512, it's $1,249, which is still a great price. Same as last year, or same as the previous MacBook Air. Yeah, AirTags will probably be announced with the new AirPods, but we're not going to see that in 2020, I don't think. It's probably going to be early 2021. Check out the new MacBook Air. There's a 7-core GPU and 8-core GPU option. I'm on the MacBook Air right now. Yeah, so yeah, 7-core and 8-core right here. So not only do you get the additional storage, but you also get an extra core for the GPU for $249 more. Everything else appears to be the same though on these, and no new colors. I know a lot of people wanted new colors as well, but we still have the space gray, gold, and silver. So just those 3 colors. So no green, no blue, nothing like we saw with the iPads and the iPhones. Why only 8 gigabytes? I mean, most people that are getting an Air don't need more than 8. I thought we would see a bump. I thought 16 would be the standard, but especially for the Pro, I thought 16 would be standard. But we're still gonna have to pay the extra 200 for 16, which I would highly recommend if you're getting a Pro. Dual monitor an issue? What do you mean by an issue? Lester with the super chat. Appreciate that, Lester. Didn't say anything, but I appreciate that. Seeing the impressive performance jump, should I get the current iPad Pro 2020 or wait for next year's iPad Pro? I think the iPad Pro 2020 is solid. I would just get it now, honestly, if it were me. I love my 2020 AirPod Pro or iPad Pro. Can M1 run Windows? We didn't see anything about Boot Camp or anything like that, so I'm not too sure. I will test that when I get my Macs in-house. When I get the new MacBooks, I will test out stuff like Boot Camp and things like that. So M1 for gaming, M1 chips are going to be fine for gaming. It's going to be better, obviously, than previous generation, but I still don't believe it's going to be too crazy. I don't think we're going to be able to run like crazy high graphics on PUBG and you know, things like that. But it's going to run simple games just fine. Just for a chip, it's more than just a chip. Much better battery life and everything. So it's much more than just the chip. And even though, and it's just a chip, but it also improves everything. The efficiency, the performance. TiVo with the 5 again. Appreciate that. Thank you. I'll buy the Mac Mini now. I currently have a 2014 base model Mac Mini, so I've been struggling. Thanks for your input. Yeah, I would definitely do that. No problem, Mike. Is there a MacBook Pro 14 coming? A 14-inch? No. We didn't see anything about a 14-inch. This is the 13-inch. So I want to order these. I should probably do it on my... I should probably do it before they sell out because it's probably going to be a lot less supply of these. So my Apple Store is down. Look at that. The Apple Store app on my phone is down. Let me close out of it and see if it comes back. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to. I can't use Apple Pay either because I've already hit my limit for the Apple Card for this month. That's how much I've been spending on these iPhones to make reviews for you guys. But yeah, I'll be getting all these new Macs, and then I'll probably keep whichever one I like the most, and I'll probably return the one that I, don't want as much after I do the comparisons and everything. So, G with the 2, appreciate that. Wonder how much gigahertz it will be clocked at. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what the Geekbench tests and things like that. So. What do I like most about M1? I think the GPU performance and the battery life are my 2 favorite things about the M1 chip. Much better GPU and much better battery life performance. So let's see if we can order this Mac Mini. I'm definitely getting the Mac Mini. That's the thing I'm ordering first. This is the new Mac Mini. Which one should I pre-order? I think I want to get the 512 gigabyte. Definitely need 16 gigabytes of RAM. Can you add your own RAM to the Mac Mini? I don't think you can. That's just the iMac, right? Just the iMac you can add your own RAM to, like by yourself, right? I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to do 16 gigs. And I think I'm just going to do 512 gigabytes just because I use a lot of external drives, so I don't really need storage on board. Is Big Sur on 2015 iMac 4K? Yeah, it should be. It should be, yeah. Can the M1 support CSGO /Steam games? Yeah, I played CSGO a lot on my 16-inch MacBook Pro, so M1 will be even better at it. All right, so I just pre-ordered the Mac Mini. For some reason, I can't pick it up in store. Wow. Okay, so these already got pushed back. So the dates already got pushed back for the new Mac Mini already, and you can't pick up in store. So now it says delivers November 24th. November 24th is the day now for the Mac Mini. I was too slow. I was in the stream. I was trying to talk to you guys in the stream, and I missed out on the Mac Mini. I don't know why I can't do it in store though. Usually you're able to pick these up in store, but maybe they're not doing that. I wonder if the MacBook Pro. All right, so I'm gonna be live here for a couple more minutes, guys. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm trying to answer some questions about should I buy this, should I buy that, and hopefully it's helping you guys out as well. I'm actually gonna go for the silver new MacBook Pro, just because I already have the 16-inch and the space gray. So, and I'm gonna go with the 8-core. Actually, only have 8-core options here, but I'm gonna do the 512 of storage. A lot of the same questions I've already answered. I clap you with the super chat. Appreciate that. I just got out of class. What was released? So we got the MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, and Mac Mini. 3 new Macs, much better performance, same price, except the Mac Mini is $100 less than the previous gen Mac Mini. So let's see, we're gonna do 16 gigs of memory here, add to bag. Let's see if we have a delay on this as well. So yeah, everything is November 24th. So it looks like everything has been pushed back. The dates are falling on the new Macs. I wonder if anybody else is talking about the delivery dates or anybody pre-ordering over on my Twitter feed. Let's see. Yeah, so I wonder what Love to Dream had to say, because he had some cryptic stuff that he didn't talk about. Lester with the super chat, appreciate that. I just bought the latest MacBook Pro. Wasn't a bad decision. Will you do a comparison about it? Love your channel, by the way. Hey, appreciate that, Lester. I don't think it was a bad decision, and I will be making a video on it. Yes, I will be comparing it, doing a review, everything. So this is what I'm talking about with Love to Dream. So back on October 30th, he tweeted out AMC STATMIN, and then what he meant by that was ARM Mac coming soon. These are 3 Macs in November. There are 3 Macs in November. So that's what I'm saying. He tweets cryptic stuff like that. So maybe the LS meant something else, not for this event. You made it a CPO? Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. It is a CPO. Good call on that. So maybe I will just order the regular ones just so I can pick it up in store day of. Let me go ahead and do that actually. Good call on that, MK. So let's see. Which ones are you guys pre-ordering? I'm really curious to see which Macs you guys are pre-ordering, if any. Let's see if I can get the Mac Mini up here. Pro only has 2 USB-C ports. Yeah. Is 8 gigabytes worth it or 16 gigabytes? If you're getting the Pro, I think you should go 16. If you're getting the Air, I think 8 is fine. Everybody wants to see the cat, man. Oh, man. Yeah, so for the Mac Mini, I'm going to do the base. Changing nothing. So $699. Okay, November 17th. Let's see if I can pick it up in store, though. So it's going to be $747.93, at least in the US. All right, so I just bought it. November 17th is when it's expected. You can't pick it up in store, though, which is interesting. So now I'm going to go ahead and order the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air. So I'm going to order the base models for all of them, but I would recommend if you're going to get it and keep it for a long time to do the 16 gigabytes of RAM and also a terabyte of storage if you're getting the Pro. What do you mean a discrete GPU? It has an 8-core integrated GPU, the most powerful of any MacBook. Any differences between the new Air and Pro? A lot of differences. I mean, besides performance and stuff, battery life has also changed as well. Everything is mostly internal though. Although they did say that the MacBook Pro does have better speakers or better microphones, which was already incredible to begin with, but even better microphones on the MacBook Pro. But it does have the same touch bar, same Face ID camera, a lot of the same as expected. We didn't really expect too many changes to the design. Boosted Mac Mini 2018 versus Mac Mini 2020. Depends on what it was boosted to, but I would probably still go for the Mac Mini 2020. LS equals last minute surprise? Maybe. I'm really curious to see how this MacBook Air performs though, because I was never really too impressed with the MacBook Air for what I do personally. Obviously, if you don't do like video editing and stuff like that, it's gonna be a great laptop, but this one seems very promising. As a software student, which one to prefer? I would say the MacBook Pro. If you're in software, the MacBook Pro for sure. Should I buy the 16-inch MacBook Pro or the new 13-inch MacBook Pro? I think the new one. I think the new 13-inch MacBook Pro. Although I do love the 16-inch display. Yeah, I wish there was a 16-inch option and 32 gigabytes of RAM. Me as well. The next Apple event's probably going to be the beginning of next year, would be my guess. Probably in March. If I had to guess a month, probably in March. Can the base model Air handle 1080p video editing? Most likely, I would think so, yes. But 4K, probably not. Eight gigabytes or 16 gigabytes for a college student? 8 is going to suffice. 8 should be fine. I would only recommend 16 for the Pro, and that's if you're, video editing, photo editing, things like that. That's really the only time you really need that extra RAM. All right, guys, going to answer a few more questions and head out of here. Again, if you have not subscribed to the channel already, make sure you guys subscribe down below. I will be covering all these new Macs in future videos. I will be getting my hands on them when they come out as well. Do you think unified RAM will hurt the upgrades? What do you mean by hurt? What model should I get for a computer science major? Again, I definitely think the Pro for computer science. If you're going to be doing coding and things like that, I would go for the Pro. It's definitely worth the extra money for stuff like that. I just got the MacBook Air 2020. Should I change it for the new Silicon one? You mean if you really just got it and you're in the return period, the 14 days, then 100% I would. 100%. But if you're talking about if you should sell it or something like that, then I would also consider that depending on how much you can get for it. I just missed a question about a student going into music. Here we go. For college student going into music and education, which Mac would you suggest? So if you're talking about like music production and things like that, definitely the Pro. Definitely the Pro. Anything that's like really intensive like that, especially for long term as well. Like don't just think about right now, think about long term as well. Stuff like that you're going to want the Pro for. Another question about music production. Yeah, I would get the Pro for music production, especially because you'll probably be hooking things up to it and things like that. Yeah, the Pro. Should I wait till next year for the iMac 27-inch or upgrade now? I would wait at this point, honestly, but it depends on what you have now. But I would probably wait for the new iMac. I would not buy it. I heard Apple will release next book with mini LED and redesigned body. Is it true? Probably. but it's going to be, like the 16-inch, and it's going to be much more expensive than these MacBooks. So just keep that in mind as well. We'll probably see the iPads with mini LED before we see the MacBooks. Advise a student who plans to move to a Mac and works with Adobe CC. I mean, the MacBook Air will handle Adobe CC just fine. So, I mean, if it's mainly just light work in Adobe CC, then the MacBook Air will be fine. I would probably up the RAM though on the MacBook Air. But if you're talking about more stuff like video editing, then I would probably 4K video editing. Let me rephrase. I would probably go with the Pro. The base model Mac Pro is good. MacBook Pro is good, yes. Should I get the new Mac Mini or a MacBook Pro? I'm a graphic designer. It depends. Like if you're trying to be portable, then the MacBook Pro for sure. But if you have a monitor already, or you spend a lot of time just sitting down, then I think the Mac Mini is an easy choice for me. Like graphic design is, I mean, it's a lot of sitting down and looking at a screen and editing. So for me, the Mac Mini. But the new MacBook Pro is fine too, especially if you're like in school and you travel a lot while you're working. Then the MacBook Pro would be better. But just sitting still, not moving a lot with it, the Mac Mini is my preferred. That's what I'm mainly getting it for. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna head out of here. Appreciate you all for stopping by. That was a really fun event. I'm glad you guys got to share the excitement with me. So once again, I will be pre-ordering the MacBook Pro, the MacBook Air, and the new Mac Mini, and I will have those in studio here next week. So yeah, anyways, guys, thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you guys do subscribe. And yeah, thanks again. I'll see you guys soon.